Hello and welcome to Queendom TV, and today I'm going to be talking about something that's going to sound really strange and controversial and potentially a bit uncomfortable to begin with, but just go with me, just run with me here. I promise you I'm going somewhere with this. So I'm going to be talking about why I don't trust charities and why I don't give money to charity. Now, just want to say, it's not that I'm saying I don't give money to charitable work. In fact, I do give money to charitable work. However, I've started to wonder about a lot of charities in this world. And you guys know, first things first, that I've talked about a lot how a lot of people use the fact that they have a charity or they give a lot to charity. And I'm talking about like especially very rich people as a way for us not to pay attention to some of the other questionable things that they do. I've also discussed how I feel like a lot of them are, and I don't know the specifics of exactly how they could do this. If any of you guys know, please let me know. But I feel like a lot of them could be just using charities and whatever as an excuse for them to actually benefit themselves, and just be laundering money through their charities. I do believe money is being laundered through charities, but also I feel like charities are something that get used. I feel like, okay, the first thing that's the most important thing is I don't believe that the money in the charity is going towards the things that they're saying it's going towards, or at least not the most of it, right? And it's very easy to do stuff in this day and age when it comes to business, because if you own a business and you have to write off your expenses, and you might say that you've got staff that work for the charity, and so you got to write this off and you got to write that off, it can become very easy, in my opinion, based on my understanding, to start just writing stuff off as, this is for charity, this is all going towards whatever. But if they've got to pay for a building and they've got to pay for a bunch of people, etc., then it's not really the same thing. And I know a lot of charities require, that you have a board of trustees and a board of this and a board of that. Again, if it's just people who are just as corrupt as you are, then it's not really stopping anything. Do you know what I mean? And I don't mean to sound like a cynical Sally by saying anything that what I'm saying here. I'm just trying to be real, because I feel like in this day and age, we're so quick to always assume that everything is exactly what it says and we trust exactly what it is. That's why how a lot of us are getting caught up and getting tripped up. That's why a lot of issues still exist. Like, I ask myself, there's so many adverts I've seen since I was a child of the same exact charity, and it's like nothing has improved. Like, nothing has improved. You're not telling me that so far now, since we've been saving over the last 10 years, so and so many number of lives have been saved. Like, it's still the same similar types of numbers that I was seeing in the past. You're still begging just the same. And I'm sure that people are giving, because I know people, the way that they do a lot of these adverts, or even just having people standing at supermarkets or out and about, people do give their money, and a lot of people give their time or work for charities. And again, you could work for a charity, but you might see the money coming in, but you don't see where the money goes out to. Do you see what I mean? And unless you see where the money goes out to, you don't know where that money goes out to, really and truly. And so I think it's really, for me, I'm really questioning a lot of this stuff. And the thing that made me make this video in the first place was was when I was filming for a different video that I did, where I was talking about the whole situation with Prince Andrew, and how one of Jeffrey Epstein's ex-lawyers has come forward and said that he wants to see all the details of this settlement, this 12 million settlement. And this settlement money is to go to the charity, Virginia's charity, Virginia Roberts Gueffer's charity. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this and why it made me want to make this video is because I was thinking that, so many times I feel like people use the fact that they're just going to throw money at charity as like an excuse. That the more I'm seeing charity being used, especially by very rich people, I'm not talking about the average person. When I say average person, I just mean per average salary, nothing else. Because I think we're all unique and special. I do believe that in our own way. But I'm talking about, like the very rich people who have something to hide. Because one of the things I pointed out, even about Epstein, is the fact that he was a middleman pretty much for business, between businesses and charities in a lot of senses. He pretty much was making sure that a lot of charities had big funding going in, which is great, by the way. And I hope that all that money is genuinely going to charity. I really do. And that's why I'm not saying to anybody not to give to charity. Personally, because of the types of work that I do, it's a lot easier for me to direct my money to the actual people who need it. So then I feel like for myself, I may as well just continue to do that. Then I'm 100% sure that the money or whatever it is, resources that I'm using go to people, or I know of people who do specific charities that are trustworthy, and then I will give or whatever to those people. And that's what I recommend to everybody else. Like, find, if you've got local charities that you give to, you know, get to know who started it, what's their story, how can you support, you know, and stuff like that, or just things you can even do, because you can even do charitable work yourself. You know, maybe you know, find out what's needed in your area, find out what other smaller charities are doing maybe in your area to help, you know. Or if you are going to do certain things, you know, a lot of places they need people to give money because they want to go and do work somewhere else. I know in some church circles people go and do mission trips where they go and build stuff and they go and help with stuff. So see where you can. I think if you're going to do give to charity and stuff, you should really give, find something that means something to you and give to that. Because I think a lot of the charities that are out there, like, and I'm going to say this, although this is going to come across extremely controversial, but I want to say this because it's important. I feel like with cancer research, right? Cancer research is one of those things that every year that I see that they're not saying they've made further steps in cancer research, and yet we're going to outer space, and yet we had a you know what jab that turned up in a very short space of time, and yet we've got, you know, so many different sciences that they're proving of things that they're doing inside the human body. We've got microchips coming in. I find it extremely hard to believe that in this day and age we don't have the money, that we don't have the technology for cancer research, and we haven't, you know, we haven't finally found a cure. And in fact, when I was doing my degree, we discovered that there were cures that people had found previously. A lot of them were just lethal. That's kind of how we ended up with chemo, because chemo it kind of kills I think it's like, it kind of kills all the cells, but it also kills the bad cells. So you just do it in a certain amount so that you can ideally kill off the cancer only. But it does make people unwell. But I think, you know, by now, I really believe that they would have had the cure for cancer. And the reason why I would say that they would have the cure and not say anything is because, A, let's not forget that the pharmaceutical industry, right, is a business. So it makes a lot more sense. Like, it makes them so much more money to have somebody coming in, right, over and over again with all these appointments and treatments that they're having to pay for, way more than it does, oh, you've got so and so, here's some pills and that's going to heal you in about a week and you won't have to come back. Would they prefer that? Probably not. They prefer to have to make you go through all of these different things because it's going to cost you money. And I know that a lot of doctors and people like that, some of them, you know, some people step away, or they start their own clinics, or they do their own thing because they are not happy with the corruption that goes on. You know, a perfect example of the corruption that goes on that I can prove to you guys in just the most simplest of terms is, why is it, if you're in the UK, right, to go and get yourself a prescription, it costs you about £9 something, right? £9 something now to get a prescription. It might even be £10. I might even be that far behind, right? And that's whatever prescription, that's like the flat fee, right? Here's the thing. If you were to go, you can get prescribed ibuprofen, right? Ibuprofen, paracetamol, you can get prescribed those things, right? If you get prescribed those things, you could also go and buy ibuprofen and paracetamol, and you can go and get that for like 30p, like 17p. And I'll tell you guys something, it's the very same ibuprofen. I've done experiments literally in the lab. I remember when I was studying chemistry once, one of the times I was studying chemistry, we did an experiment like to just try, we got like ibuprofen from, I think it was from like, I don't know where it was from the supermarket, from somewhere, and we did an experiment to test if the amount of ibuprofen they said was in the tablet, and it turned out it was, right? Of course it was. So tell me why I could go and buy right now ibuprofen for like 40p, and then somebody's getting prescribed ibuprofen for £9. Well, I'll tell you why. Because the hospitals make deals with massive companies like GlaxoSmithKline and other big companies like that say, well, we want you, if you make a deal with us, and we want you to buy all of our paracetamol or our ibuprofen for £5. See what I'm saying? And then they make a massive profit, even though you're literally getting the exact same thing in your supermarket for like 40p, right? So it is a business, you know, and so that's why I don't trust all these charities and stuff. I feel like so many things that happen, we are just going along with things because somebody told you that, somebody said it. Just because somebody says it doesn't mean it's real. Those of you on my channel, you already know what I'm about to say, right? Just because I say that I'm white, that does not make me a white person, does it? No, it doesn't. So, but I could say that. I could say, if you weren't seeing my face, right? I don't know if you would attribute my voice to being black. I don't know. But if you weren't seeing my face and I told you, oh, by the way, I'm white, you might believe that because you can't see what's hidden. And I feel like so many of these things, when it comes to charities and all this stuff, it's a bunch of stuff that's hidden that we can't see, that we're believing in because we're trusting in people. We're thinking that we're doing the best thing. We're too busy thinking ourselves that we want to do the right thing. Like, oh my gosh, there's a charity I want to give. Oh my gosh, there's this, let me do this. Without realizing that people have very dodgy, do very dodgy dealings behind closed doors. And we don't realize it. And the world it's a great place in a lot of ways, but it's a very dark place in a lot of ways as well. And we've got to remember that. And I just feel like when it comes to charities and stuff, I'm not for giving money to just some big blanket charity that sounds amazing. No, I'm for giving money. I'd rather save my money and give it to, you know, a person or like that I know, or to like a charity that I know who runs it, a smaller charity. I'd rather go to churches where I know that there are a lot of churches. I know that churches have been known for negative things with money, which again, I use the same logic I'm using now is the same logic I use with churches. Find one where I know of people who are going to be helping with a particular issue, doing a particular thing. Like one of the churches I used to go to, they had somebody who's doing mission trips in another country, and people used to give money. And this person, she used to, like, when you used to sign up to give money, she would send you a newsletter of exactly what the money was going to. And it wasn't like, I'm not saying it to be like, I want to make sure that my money is being spent like although you should make sure it's going to what you want it to. But it was also, you know, to let people know like the incredible things that they were achieving. And you could actually see improvements as the months and stuff were going by of how things were improving, because that's what I don't see with a lot of other charities. A lot of other charities, I feel like I'm still seeing the same adverts I was seeing, you know, when I was a child. And I'm wondering, well, how is this not changed in this day and age? How is it not, especially when you have countries that try, when there's other things going on in other countries, they try and say, oh, we want to support this and this nation who needs people, who have people who are being abandoned or whatever. Okay, so why are we not doing this on a more global scale? Why is it that there's these independent so-called charities that are having to ask for money? You know, it just doesn't add up to me. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not saying not to give to charity. I recommend, in my opinion, not advice, just food for thought, that you would, you know, find someone or somewhere that, you know, you can see exactly what's going on and do that. You know, if you find there's a local soup kitchen or something, go and give them some groceries every now and then. Or like I said, if you know somebody in particular that you see doing something, or you can find them, you know, find them online, find somewhere. And even with charities, feel free, guys, you know, like when you're on a website, you know, there's almost always a contact page. Feel free to contact people and actually ask, you know, I want to report, or I want this, whatever's going to satisfy you to be satisfied that this is where the money is really going. Because unfortunately, I think a lot of the time people are giving their money and it's not going to what they want. And it's a shame, because especially in this day and age when it's been such hard times, for people to have given up their money, you know, to help somebody else. Or maybe you might be doing that because you want to be, even in a hard times, you want to be able to be selfless and help others, or you're still thinking more about others. Then just protect that as well, you know, so we make sure that these people actually get what they want. Because there have been scandals where people have discovered like, oh, those people weren't getting the money that we thought they were getting, no, and they never got it. And they're like, yeah, we never got it, you know. And I can tell you this because this type of stuff happens even in Africa. Like a lot of corruption where people have been giving money. That's where certain African countries as well, they don't even give sometimes it was our own people, you know, sometimes it was the own people running the countries and stuff that were taking the money and not giving it to the people, you know. And people have thought that they've given all this money. So let's not forget that it can happen anywhere and everywhere. And I think it's happening a lot more than we realize. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think in the comment section down below about all of this. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts as always. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and of course like the video. Other than that, God bless you all, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.